Thank you for watching RooTV.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's your lucky week. Welcome to a golden episode of RooTV. I'm Marissa Leggio.
And I'm Grace Kertz. After long-standing disharmony, UMKC Student Government Association impeached the president and selected an interim figurehead. Stay tuned for details.
Vibrant and characterful Post-it notes filled the Miller-Nichols Library last week for Operation Beautiful, an event hosted by the UMKC Women's Center for Everybody is Beautiful Week. Operation Beautiful was created by blogger Caitlin Boyle with the intention of extending kindness to strangers through uplifting notes. Messages regarding beauty, confidence, and worth were frequently covered themes. The Women's Center works to spread body positivity and inclusivity by hosting Operation Beautiful in correlation with Everybody is Beautiful Week every year since 2015. The Women's Center is also hosting an Equal Pay Day event on March 15th and will be tabling in the Student Union from 11 p.m. to 1 p.m. To find more information, visit the Women's Center or check out their page on Roo Groups.
I actually saw them putting the sticky notes up. They're covering like an entire wall and they're scattered in the bathrooms and stuff.
I did see that when I was at the library last week studying, and I thought it was a really cool idea, actually.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The new KCI Airport Terminal opened on February 28th and immerses guests into the Kansas City experience. This is accomplished through restaurants, support for local businesses, music, and more. Some features include an indoor playground, haircuts at the Director's Cut, and smooth jazz from a stage in Soiree Steak and Oyster House. The terminal also has spaces for overwhelmed travelers, such as the Sensory Room, which is designed for travelers who are neurodivergent, and the Quiet Room, which is for anyone who needs a sense of peace. Additionally, 2 large all-gender bathrooms are included for parents with little ones, those who require caregiver assistance, and those in the LGBTQ+ community. From purchasing Joe's barbecue sauce to posing with the Patrick Mahomes mannequin to enjoying the variety of spaces, this $1.5 billion terminal is said to have something for everyone. And for many, it represents what home is in Kansas City.
A group of roughly 50 protesters lined up along the sidewalks on the corner of Mill Creek Park last Saturday to rally against a bill that could impact LGBTQIA+ students across Missouri. Mill Creek Park, just a 3-minute drive from UMKC, is usually a destination for a quiet jog or walking one's dog. On that afternoon, however, the park was filled with students, concerned citizens, and activists, all united by one cause. The main concern for the protesters was Senate Bill 134, often likened to Florida's Don't Say Gay Act. If passed, discussion of gender identity or sexual orientation would be outlawed in Missouri schools across all grade levels. Despite the concern from students, teachers, and other community members, supporters of the bill insist its purpose is not to discriminate.
Now, let's toss it over to Jackson Ogden for sports.
Welcome back into the den. I am Jackson Ogden, and it is finally that time of year. March Madness has finally arrived. We've got the bracket up right behind me, and I'm going to be giving you the guide to a perfect, spotless bracket right now. We're going to do this in real time. So let's start with Alabama and the winner of these two, SEMO and whoever that is, doesn't matter. Who really cares? No way they're going to beat Alabama. Now we get into the 8-9. This one's interesting. This is going to be a grudge match. These are 2 really good defensive teams, Maryland and West Virginia, but I'm going West Virginia. Think that they're just more battle tested through the Big 12. Now, got a big upset coming here. San Diego State, the Aztecs taking on Charleston. Charleston went 31-3 this year. They shoot the lights out of the ball. I'm taking Charleston in a 12-5 upset. We then go down to the Virginia Cavaliers and Furman. I'm taking Virginia, although I think Furman can make this a game. This one's interesting as we continue. Creighton and NC State. NC State, I'm honestly surprised they even made it. They were a bubble team. I'm surprised they got in. I would have preferred Clemson over them. So for that, you're getting kicked. Baylor and UC Santa Barbara. Not much to talk about there. Here we go. This is going to get a lot of people's interest. Mizzou and Utah State. This game, honestly, could be like a 90 to 85 type of game. I mean, neither team plays a lick of defense. These shoot the lights out of the ball. Utah State, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. But Mizzou is a little more battle-tested. They go through the SEC, a tougher schedule. I think they've just got more experience. They've got 9 seniors on the roster. I like Missouri to pull that one out. And then Arizona and Princeton. Unfortunately, intelligence doesn't get you through this time, Princeton. I'm going Arizona. Let's go to the round of 32 in this bracket. Alabama and West Virginia. Sorry, Alabama's too good. Brandon Miller, best player in the country right now. Maybe outside of Zach Edey at Purdue. Let's not get blasphemous. Charleston and Virginia. Ooh, I could see this coming. It's going to be interesting. But Virginia, they just play too well at defense. They guard the perimeter too well for Charleston's three-point shooting to become an issue. Creighton and Baylor. I'm sorry, Baylor. I'm sorry, the Bears. You might have won in 2021, but you're not that good this year. I don't even know why you're a 3. Creighton is going to get this upset. They're going to move on. And then now I have to end Mizzou's, I guess, Cinderella story. I don't know, not really at this point. Any hope that you would have had, I'm sorry, Mizzou fans. Arizona's going through. And then I'm going to go chalky here. Alabama is going to beat Virginia, in my opinion. And then Arizona beats Creighton. We get the 1-2. And as much as it pains me to say, because I really don't like Alabama, I really don't like Nate Oates, their head coach. He's kind of, eh. But I think Alabama goes to the Final Four out of this region. And now we'll move on to the Midwest region. Make sure we got that up. We do. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Houston and Northern Kentucky. Let's not entertain that. Iowa and Auburn. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. I just think Iowa, the experience for Fran McCaffrey's been there a long time as their head coach. I just think that they've got a little bit of an edge there. Miami and Drake. This one's going to be interesting. And if I had to bet, I bet the rapper Drake would probably bet a lot on Drake this week. So the Drake curse will hit them. That's a lot of Drakes. Let's get them out of here. Miami is moving forward. Indiana and Kent State. Not really going to entertain that. I don't think Kent State's on the same level. Iowa State versus the winner of Mississippi State or Pittsburgh. It's going to be interesting. Mississippi State and Pittsburgh have to play earlier in the week. They're the first 4 in. We're going to see how that ends up going. But I think Iowa State beats whoever comes out of here. Anybody from the Big 12 has been battle-tested to the extreme, so they should be fine. Xavier and Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State was 1-28 4 years ago. A singular win. 4 years later, they are in the tournament, but that is coming to an end now. Xavier and Sean Miller, might remember him from Arizona. They're moving through. Texas A&M and Penn State. Now, this is blasphemy. Blasphemy that Texas A&M got the 7 seed. They rolled through the SEC. They got second in the SEC, and yet they get stuck with a 7 seed. They will not take this disrespect. They are moving forward, and then Texas and Colgate. As much as I always like to pick Colgate in the tournament, not going to happen. We go to the top. Houston and Iowa. I'm sorry, Iowa. Just not going to happen. Houston's playing unbelievable basketball this year. They get Sasser back. If Sasser's not in, let me just predate this. If Sasser misses the tournament for Houston, everything is completely flipped upside down. But if he doesn't, I'm taking Houston. Miami and Indiana. This one would be tough. I'm going Indiana. Iowa State and Xavier. Give me Iowa State. Big 12 battle tested. A&M and Texas. Now, this is the only good thing about Texas A&M being a 7 seed this year because we could get this in the second round. 2 really, really solid squads, but I think Texas just ekes them out in that one. That would be a really fun matchup. We get Houston and Indiana. Give me Houston. We get Iowa State and Texas. Give me Texas. You're probably thinking I'm putting another 1 seed in the Final Four. Wrong. Texas to the Final Four. Playing their best basketball of the season. They just won the Big 12 tournament. I'm putting Texas into my Final Four. Now let's go down to a region that I know we're going to have a lot of fans in. The West. We've got a lot of locals here. Kansas and Howard. Kansas. Arkansas and Illinois. 2 teams I really don't like at all. This one pains me that somebody has to win. I just wish they could both get eliminated here. I'll go Arkansas. St. Mary's and VCU. Ooh, this is going to be a really good one. St. Mary's defends really well on the perimeter. VCU, good shooting team. Taking St. Mary's, though, here. UConn and Iona. This is an interesting one. A lot of the advanced metrics like UConn. Iona's an interesting one. They're coached by Rick Pitino. For as much trouble as he's been in throughout his collegiate career, he did lead Louisville to a national championship, but I'm going UConn. TCU and the winner of Arizona State and Nevada. I like the Horned Frogs. Gonzaga and Grand Canyon. Give me Gonzaga. Northwestern and Boise State. Oh, this one's tough. This one is so tough. It's a coin flip. I'm going Boise State. UCLA and UNC Asheville. Give me the Bruins as we continue here. Arkansas and Kansas. Talk about 2 teams I don't like. My goodness, this one is going to be painful to watch if it happens. I'll give it to the Jayhawks. St. Mary's and UConn. Give me the Huskies. TCU and Gonzaga, give me the Bulldogs. And then Boise State and UCLA, give me UCLA. And then we've got an intense matchup here in the Sweet 16. UConn and Kansas. Kansas, your run's over. You won last year. It ends here. Connecticut goes to the Elite Eight, knocks out Kansas. And then Gonzaga and UCLA in a Final Four rematch from 2 years ago. Give me the Bruins. And then to go to the Final Four, give me the UCLA Bruins. And we go to our final region, the East. Purdue versus whoever wins this. Won't matter, Purdue. Memphis and Florida Atlantic, one of the better games of the tournament, honestly. Memphis is a very dangerous 8 seed. They just won the American Conference by beating Houston. It'll be a really interesting one. I'm taking Memphis here. Duke and Oral Roberts. Roos fans are very, very familiar with Oral Roberts. They just ran through the Summit League without basically breaking a sweat. You got Max Acemans, Connor Vanover. They are stacked, but they are running into a Duke team that's playing their best basketball of the season right this second. Give me Duke. Tennessee and Louisiana. Probably my biggest upset I'm going to pick, Louisiana. Tennessee, not been playing well as of late, losing key players. It's written in the stars. It is just written there. Kentucky and Providence, I'll never trust Providence, sorry. Kansas State and Montana State, taking K-State. Michigan State and USC, cooler logo wins here. Marquette and Vermont, watch out for Vermont. Vermont, to me, is the most dangerous 15 seed. They play a really fast-paced style of basketball, but Marquette is going through. Purdue and Memphis. Now I'm internally debating. Is this where I knock off a 1 seed? It is where I knock off a 1 seed. Big upset here. Memphis going through. Duke will beat Louisiana. Kentucky, Kansas State. Give me K-State. And then give me Marquette over Michigan State. Memphis and Duke. Going Duke. The Blue Devils, man, they're just playing their best basketball of the year. Kansas State and Marquette. Wildcats upset Marquette, head to the Elite Eight. And then Duke and Kansas State in a matchup that I don't think anybody else will be predicting except me. Give me Duke to go to the Final Four, and now we're at our Final Four. Let's start on the left side of the bracket. Alabama and Duke. Whew, I mean, this one, it's going to go either way, but Bama to me, they've just got more star potential. Brandon Miller, no matter the controversy around him, is one of college basketball's best players. And then Texas and UCLA on the other side. Ooh, man. This is the tough part about doing this live, is that I don't have an answer for you, honestly. But I'm going to go UCLA. I have to pick the Bruins here. They've been my pick all year. And I've got UCLA winning the national championship this year. I know they've been hit with some injuries, but I've got them winning the national championship this year. Let's just go 77-70, and let's drop the confetti. There you go. UCLA is my winner in March Madness. So if you want a perfect bracket this March Madness, you want to get in on all the prize money that you could win, right here is your bracket. Thank you all for listening, and let's get March Madness going. Woo!
Welcome back to Lifestyle and Culture. I'm your host, Joshua Cunningham, and today I'm going to talk about UMKC. But before that, I want to give a little shout out to my boy Jonah for listening to the Morgan Wallen album. 36 songs, guys. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. And it's country. I like country, but not that much, okay? But 98 Braves was cool, I guess. But I'm going to talk about UMKC because the conservatory has so much to give, and I feel like we don't talk about it enough. But this last week, we had 3 different opportunities, 3 different concerts, and the first one was on Thursday, where the conservatory concert choir got to sing with some high schoolers and some elementary school kids at a church, and it was a very cool opportunity, and we raised money to help people in Kansas City that were struggling to find food. So it was really cool. It was a really great concert, great experience. And on Friday, we had a really cool opportunity to sing for the Big 12 tournament for the women and for the men, the national anthem. So Roo up. I mean, I wish the Roos were in March Madness right now, but it's okay. I'm waiting for next year for us to make it there. And then on Saturday, we had a last concert, and it was tenor bass choir and alto soprano choir and cantacuto. I can't really say their name, I'm going to be honest, but it was another choir. And I would say tenor bass choir stole the show. I mean, I'm in that one, so I think, we did pretty good. We got a little standing ovation. But, I mean, we have UMKC has another choir concert this upcoming week. So if you want to hear more about that, it's the Conservatory Singers. Go to the website and really just pay attention to the conservatory, because I feel like we can give a lot to this community. And I appreciate you guys listening. This is all the time I have for today. If you want to hear more about my music opinions, follow me at Mr. Cunning123 on Instagram, and see you next week.
Welcome back to Book Review. My name is Afnan Hussain. This episode is devoted to Jane Austen, a literary genius, feminist, and the original romance enthusiast. And my goodness, she has done it again. I recently read Sense and Sensibility, Jane Austen's first published work. Sense and Sensibility is more straightforward than most of her later novels. The story focuses on two sisters, ages 17 and 19, and how their romantic interests and relationships epitomize their different approaches to life. And let me say, I was reminded that words cannot explain the love that I have for Austen's writing. Jane Austen's beautiful language, her witty writing and humor, and the engaging flow made the reading so enjoyable. I love her amazing ability to draw you into the setting of the story and to make you part of it. Her characters are so real that the good ones become your friends while the wicked ones become your enemies. This element of realism is one of the strongest reasons for the popularity of her work over the years. The most appealing aspect of her novels, especially Sense and Sensibility, is the need for her intelligent, strong-willed female characters to live through the requirements of the Victorian society. So much of the charm of Jane's writing revolves around the characters being forced to find an acceptable mode of expressing raw emotions because they have to be proper ladies. Now it's time for an excerpt. It is not time or opportunity that is to create intimacy. It is disposition alone. 7 years would be insufficient to make some people acquainted with each other, and 7 days are more than enough for others. If you like this book review, check out my Instagram at afhussain_ for more. Thanks for listening.
Hi everyone, I'm Catia and I'm back with more movie and TV show recommendations. Beware, there might be spoilers. I watched Megan yesterday, and while it wasn't terrible, it didn't leave me as frightened as I hoped. This movie is about Katie, a young girl who lost both of her parents in a car accident. Her aunt, Gemma, is a toy designer and ends up taking Katie in. Gemma finds it a bit difficult to navigate being a guardian to a child. She creates a robot, or toy, named Megan, which helps Katie cope with her grief. Little does Gemma know that the toy ends up doing some severe damage. Next, we have the menu. This movie is set on an island where the acclaimed chef greets the guests with a number of delicacies, or so the guests thought. Margot is invited by her friend Tyler to the island where they meet Chef Slowick, a very serious man with not so good intentions. While the first and second courses seem pretty normal, the third takes a turn where the guests are met with the reality of their visit. If you want to know more, you can watch this on HBO Max or Hulu. Lastly, let's go with a classic, 10 Things I Hate About You. I know I mentioned this was a classic, but I actually watched this for the first time the other day. This is a rom-com, so you get the best of both worlds. It follows Kat and her sister Bianca. Bianca's dying to date, but her father won't let her until her older sister Kat does. A number of boys crushing on Bianca set up a plan to make Kat date Patrick, one of the bad boys at school. Kat isn't easily convinced, but what once was a joke to Patrick ends up being the complete opposite. Well, this is all I have for you guys. Until next week.
Welcome everyone to the first segment of The Ruse Closet. I'm your host, Gabe Rocha. Now before we get started, I want to take this moment to say that every single person has their own sense of style. Whether that be jeans and a hoodie or pants and a blazer, this program is about promoting self-confidence and exploring fashion. If that sounds good, let's get into it. For our first segment, we're going to be talking about outfit essentials. What are outfit essentials? Well, outfit essentials are a simple piece of clothing that can be worn with any other different outfit combinations. What does this mean? Let's give some examples. So the first outfit essential is a nice quality pair of jeans. A jeans that has one color, free of tears or distressing, because those jeans can be dressed up with a button-up shirt and a blazer, or dressed down with like a simple sweater or like a t-shirt or whatever the vibe is that you're feeling. The next thing is a clean, versatile pair of shoes. This can be sneakers, minimalist boots, or any other shoe that you have in your wardrobe. It's always important to keep these shoes clean because when you keep them clean, it makes your outfit look more fresh and more put together. The next thing is a professional, solid colored top. This can be like a Henley or a polo, a button down, or a blouse, a sweater, whatever you have in your wardrobe. Things that can be mixed and matched with those outfit essential jeans and shoes. The next and last thing on this list is cologne or perfume. I know people may be thinking, how is this an outfit essential? But people do take note of the way you smell. And boys, it's time to ditch the Axe body spray and get an actual cologne, okay? This bottle right here of Versace Dylan Blue was only 20 bucks at Kohl's. I mean, come on, you can't beat 20 bucks. Alrighty guys, so if you have any questions, comments, or anything you'd like to talk to me about, please leave those in the comments below. And thanks for listening. I always appreciate it. See you next time.
UMKC's Student Government Association, SGA, removed President Tim Nguyen for failure to carry out the duties of student body president. This was stated on the article of impeachment, which passed with 21 yeas, 6 nays, and 1 abstention. Student Senate has not impeached an executive officer since 2013, when the Student Senate pushed its comptroller out of office. Nguyen was initially elected by the student body in 2021 and was re-elected last spring. According to the Constitution guidelines, the president's leadership role would typically fall to the second in command. However, the vice president resigned at the beginning of the spring semester. Consequently, Fraternity and Sorority Affairs Senator Haley Prinz has been appointed interim president. She will serve until the results of the general election this spring. Prinz expressed, "I want to make sure that whoever is in office next year is at a good place to do so in the eyes of the public, community, and the school, and I'll just steer the ship until then." The next SGA meeting will occur on March 20th at 6 p.m. in the Student Union Chambers.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of RooTV. Be sure to hop on the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RooNewsUMKC.
See you next week.